I recently got to interview my friend Steve Garrett. Steve had been in Nashville, Tennessee for a long time in music and worship. He was a worship pastor. He was a senior pastor for a while. And, now he has relatively recently moved to Philadelphia and is the worship and arts pastor for a pretty good sized church there in the suburbs of Philly. And we talked. We did this interview long distance, and the audio didn't come out quite as good as I would have liked, but it's still good enough to work with. And one of the things that he talked about was earlier on in his ministry that he would be frustrated after leading worship for a service when, I don't know, maybe things didn't go quite as well as he would have liked, or people didn't respond quite the way that he would have preferred. And he talked about how God is more interested in what he refers to as the long game. And so I'm going to let him explain what he's talking about there.
Those times when I felt least prepared and I felt like I'm not ready to lead worship, it's been amazing to see how God has met us. And I look back and I think, wow, that's just the grace of God, because it's really not what I can do, it's what God can do. And so I'm really grateful for that. But I've had the flip side happen, which is I felt like I was prepared and I learned the songs and I was spiritually prayed up and all the rest of it, and I still didn't feel like things went well. And I had to wrestle with my own self-critical kind of way about me, and I had to wrestle with that too. I think that's big for anybody who's a musician and artist, just having to do anything on a platform. Just self-criticism is a big one. And I used to get off stage and just think, how did people think my set went? And and I'd just go through all these things of, maybe I didn't do that right, if I would have just said this, and that is that's a trap, man. I think that there's a healthy critique you should have to continue to do what you do and to do it better. I'm not saying that. I believe in excellence, and I think we should all grow in our gifts and the ability to use them. That said, I think a critical spirit and just always, evaluating things to the nth degree is never really good, and I remember thinking I would judge my feeling of worth and success as to whether a set really went well and I looked like people were responding. And I'm glad when that happens. But I remember just thinking of a mosaic, and I felt like the Lord just said, I'm more interested in the full picture of your life than just whether you did this right in the set. And that really has helped me think about, I'm more interested in the long game. And the long game is me continually, bringing the sacrifice of praise, the fruit of my lips, and just a heart to love and worship God to the best of my ability over time.
I hope you're challenged by what you just heard. The idea that what happens in any given service is not nearly as big a deal as your life. As your worship leading coach, I just want to challenge and encourage you this week to think about what that means for you and whether adjustments are necessary, not only in your thinking of how you look at all of those things, but what it really means for you long term in what Steve called the long game.
Brought to you by myworshipleadingcoach.com.
Helping you to be more fully equipped as a worship leader.